deep ago. I used to think it didn't even matter. Now I see it in the way we live. If we don't choose, it's chosen for us. That matters. You matter. Right now matters. Vote for your future. The people over the parties.
Blessings, everybody, and welcome to the People Over the Party show. And I am your host, Dr. David D. King, your next governor of the state of Wisconsin. And I have a great guest here with me today. I know y'all been looking for me. We haven't had a show in a while. That's because I was going out making sure I have enough signatures to be on the ballot. So we've been real busy, and we are excited about what's coming up the pipe. On the 30th, Reverend C.L. Bryant will be in Milwaukee. C.L. Bryant is part of Freedom Project, and he won an award for his documentary called The Runaway Slave. You need to be here. You would want to hear his encouraging message to the people of Wisconsin. So I invite you all to come on down. For more information on that, call 414-676-0842. That's 414-676-0842. And I have a guest. I want to introduce y'all to my guest today. He's a friend. I consider him a friend. I consider him a person that is a hard worker and out to do the will of God. And so I want to introduce to y'all, his name is Christopher Schaefer, and he is the, how should I say, a regional director or field director?
A field director.
Field director for the JBS, which stands for the John Birch Society. And I'm going to let him just explain before we get into our conversation of who he is and what is JBS.
Thank you, Dr. King. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here. Also consider you a friend and a hard worker and a good mentor. So I've been the Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota field director for the John Birch Society now for about a month. The John Birch Society is an organization of concerned citizens that was formed in 1958. We believe in less government, more responsibility, and with God's help, a better world. We have members in all 50 states. And our members, after they join the John Birch Society, they're assigned to chapters. And our goal ultimately has always been to get one chapter in all 435 congressional districts in Wisconsin so that we can begin making a difference in our communities, educating individuals about the Constitution, free markets, individual liberty. That's really the core mission of the John Birch Society, is educating people about the documents that shaped our country, that made us a constitutional republic and the greatest country in the history of the world. And we do that through a number of ways, whether it's members through their local chapters, through our publishing house. We have a book publisher called Western Islands Publishing that's always coming out with new books. We just published a book on the death of former Defense Secretary James Forrestal. We have a couple other new books coming out this month. We also have the New American magazine, which for those of you who haven't read the New American, I strongly recommend it. It's one of the best and most accurate news publications and magazines on the market. Our latest issue on the global conspiracies, incredible. I recommend getting a copy, purchasing as many as you can, and distributing them to your friends, neighbors, local businesses in your community. We also are affiliated with Freedom Project Education, which is a K through 12 classical education academy headquartered in Appleton, which is also where our organization, the John Birch Society, is headquartered. And the way I look at our organization and my role is that we're educators. As I said, we educate people about liberty, free markets, the Constitution, and we're also missionaries, and that mission is to save the country. And so I strive every day to make sure that I fulfill those two missions and educate as many people about the founding of this country and the John Birch Society and the amazing work we're doing in communities throughout the United States as possible.
So let me ask a question because I love what you guys stands for, and I love that you guys are considering yourself missionaries to save our nation um, through the guidance of God and making sure the Constitution and that we keep our republic. I just put a post up about us being a republic and not a democracy. And so when you look at it, I want you to act like I'm brand new
Uh-huh.
and just talk about us being a republic.
Sure. Under a republic, you have the voters. The voters will elect individuals to represent them in legislative bodies. So it's unlike a democracy in which majority always rules. There are checks and balances in a republic. John Adams and the founding fathers, when they were drafting the Constitution, made sure that we had a separation of powers, that one branch couldn't be more powerful than another. And so they created enumerated powers so that the Congress would make the laws, the president would sign the laws or veto them after they're passed by Congress. And then the Supreme Court would be the ones to determine whether or not something was constitutional that Congress passed and the president signed. And because we have those specific checks and balances in a republic, no one branch can get more powerful than another. Whereas in a direct democracy where majority rules, you usually don't have that system of checks and balances. And so a group of citizens could come together, and if a majority of them think one way about something, they can start to make laws and dictates about anything really, because there's no system of checks and balances to rein them in and safeguard them. So that's why I think having a constitutional republic is so important, and we strive to educate people about that. We have a lecture series that we give called "The Constitution is the Solution." We have pamphlets that we put out comparing and contrasting the differences between republics and democracies. And so I think it's very important that people of all ages understand the differences, because I feel like too many of all ages and political parties often refer to us as a democracy when in fact we are a constitutional republic. Benjamin Franklin, when asked, said, "We have a republic if we can keep it, not a democracy." So one of the things I'm striving to do when I go out and meet people and am out in the communities is to educate them about the differences between the Constitution and republics. And I recommend going to the John Birch Society website and our YouTube page to look at some of the resources we have available to outline the differences between the two forms of government, and why a constitutional republic, and America's constitutional republic, is the greatest form of government ever created.
So for someone that is new to the John Birch or just new to politics as a whole, and they see all of these different organizations that's out here, and those organizations are pushing a Pacific Party, but JBS is not that type of organization, right? They don't push a party.
That's correct. We don't push a party. We don't get involved in campaigns. We educate people about our country and our form of government and our Constitution.
That is awesome to know. And so I just want people to know that I am a member of JBS. I looked at some of the materials they have, and those that know me know I'm big on education. I'm big on history. I'm big on the Constitution. All three Constitutions: the Bible, the United States, and the Wisconsin Constitution. And so when I saw the video on YouTube on overview of America, that is what sold me. Because with God's help, we can keep our republic. With God's help, and the people of God waking up, I think that we can make it a better place. So if a person, let's say Milwaukee, they like what they hear and they desire to get involved,
Sure.
how do they get involved?
Sure, there are a couple ways. If they want to get directly involved, the best thing to do is to become a member of the John Birch Society. You can do that on our website at jbs.org, and you will then be placed in a chapter. Currently, in this area, we have chapters in West Bend, Oconomowoc, and there's a chapter in Hartford. We're working on trying to get a chapter formed here in Milwaukee. Forming a chapter requires 8 members and a chapter leader. And once we have the chapter formed, then our members can go out and start making a difference in the community and helping with some of our action projects. So we have 3 main action projects. The first one is getting the United States out of the United Nations. The second is supporting our local police and law enforcement, because there are efforts to try and create a nationalized police force, which we're very much opposed to. And the third is stopping the North American Union, which the John Birch Society was successful in helping prevent back in 2007, when lawmakers wanted to create a union of the United States, Canada, and Mexico. We also have other projects that we're working on. So in the New American Magazine, we have what's called the Freedom Index, and we rate members of Congress based on how they vote with respect to the Constitution. So 0 to 100, 100 being the best, meaning that they're a defender of liberty and the Constitution. We do that for all 435 members of the House of Representatives, all 100 senators. We also do every member of every state legislature. So you can go onto the New American website, you can click on your state and find out how your representative and your senator votes align with the oath of office they took to uphold the Constitution. And you're even able to print them out in a couple of different formats. And they're very effective tools for holding your legislators accountable. If you go to a town hall meeting or you see them out in public, feel free to hand them a copy of their legislative scorecard and ask them, why is your score so low? You took an oath to uphold the Constitution, but yet you got a 0% or a 10%. Get these out at your local restaurant or if the dentist office. They're a really great tool for holding your elected officials accountable, and they do work. My chapters throughout the state have been getting as many of them out as possible and making legislators aware of them and their scores. And I had the opportunity 2 weeks ago to go to the Minnesota State Capitol and present 17 Minnesota lawmakers with awards for scoring 100% on the Freedom Index, which is a really incredible achievement, especially having that many in one state. We had 2 in this last Freedom Index here in Wisconsin and 17 in Minnesota. A couple other things. We also have been working hard to stop things like Common Core. The Constitutional Convention using the Article 5 method is also one of our big projects, as well as educating people about our magazine, The New American, which I talked about earlier. The latest issue about the global conspiracy is one of our best ever, most highly anticipated issues that we've ever run. It's 98 pages, and I strongly recommend it. I've gotten out about 100 copies already myself, and hoping to get more of them out in the next couple of weeks here.
Okay. Now, I like what you guys do, especially with the report cards, because that is helpful for someone that really don't know politics to understand about their elected officials and are they really representing me? Are they voting against me? Because if you're voting against the Constitution, you're voting against me. And so a place like Milwaukee, where a lot of people don't know and they just getting their information either off a radio show, whether that show is liberal or if that show is conservative. And so you only get one-sided with the report card. And I got and I thank you for sending me Congressman Moore's report card, because it helps to show the people that say, hey, this is what taxation without representation means. They're up there, they're making laws against you and not for you. And so that's the same thing when we look at our state assembly or state senator, so people can understand. I think that with the way everything going right now, more people want to get involved. More people want to know, what can I do? I had a lady yesterday in Target. She said to me, I'm doing everything I can. And I was like, okay, what are you doing? I'm telling my family to vote, but there's more. The more information you get, the more you can do. And so bringing JBS into the city of Milwaukee would be a blessing to a lot of people, because it brings them the knowledge, the information. A lot of people to this day doesn't understand that the curriculum, Common Core, that is out there. They just know math change, and that's all they know. So what would be the first step in educating a group of 8 in Milwaukee?
I would say the first step is bringing them together and showing them overview of America, walking through some of our action projects that we're working on, and getting them together and explaining the legislative scorecard and the votes that were cast. We have a research team at our office in Appleton that does an amazing job researching all of these bills and then determining which bills show up on the legislative scorecard. And unlike a lot of groups who also have scorecards, we don't give advance notice of what votes might be scored. Our research team selects them, and when you print out the scorecard, it'll have your legislator's score on the front, and the back will have a description of every vote and why it's constitutional or unconstitutional. A very detailed and thorough explanation of every single vote that we score. But back to your question, I think showing overview of America and or one of our videos on the Constitution is the solution, or Blueprint for America, which my West Bend chapter has been showing every week for the last 6 weeks. We just had Monday night, we had a get together of our chapter, and we watched 2 episodes of Blueprint for America, one on presidential war powers, and the other on the judicial system and judicial power. So I think showing videos like that, and then having speakers from our JBS Speakers Bureau also either come here in person or participate via Zoom to educate people about their specific area of expertise as it relates to the Constitution and limited government, I think could also be extremely beneficial. And as you said, you've watched Overview of America. I think it's one of the best videos for providing individuals with basic information about the framework of our government, the differences between a republic and a democracy, and the founding fathers, and why our government is structured the way it is.
Yeah, I found it very, very educational, and it was amazing how it broke everything down, and how standing on our Constitution bring us right to the middle, and I think a lot of people need to watch it to get an understanding of it. I hope it get them excited like it got me excited, because everybody see it now. You see it on both sides of the aisle. People are sick and tired of the 2-party system. They sick and tired. If they on the left, they sick and tired of those that's supposed to be leading. If it's on the right, you see it all through Facebook. They arguing, they fussing. You got a faithful few who decides for everybody and don't let everybody else decide. So to watch Overview of America and want to get involved, I believe that it empowers them, so that because they know now, where they didn't know. I was talking to an individual who's a diehard Democrat, but didn't know that the Democrats is also tied in with Democrat Socialists of America. They don't like socialism, but they did not even know it was already done creeped into their party. And so I think giving the people the power to go back to the foundation um, of the Constitution and standing strongly on that Constitution, I think that is something um, to get people involved. For your assignment, I just want to ask you a question. For your assignment, um, how many chapters do you want to have open by the end of the year?
I mean, I'd love to see a chapter in every community or every county in the state if that were possible. Because that means we have members in every community active and engaged in educating their friends and neighbors about everything we're fighting for in our agenda and the Constitution. So it's a real, grassroots movement, and the more people we can have out in the communities distributing scorecards, copies of the Freedom Index, holding events where they show our movies and reading our books, better.
Yeah. Now, I know that you mentioned the union between Canada, United States, Mexico, right?
Yep, the North American Union.
Now, do you know how many voters never heard about that? That they was even trying to do something like that. Um, so it makes me saddened that we're not educated or we don't know what's really going on. And so getting the information out to the people are so important. The knowledge, like you say, the books, the videos. So if you're really interested in politics and government, you really want to know what's really going on, how it's operating, how it flows, what is a republic versus a democracy, what is a republic versus socialism and communism. If you really want to know all of that, then give me a call and I'll help you set up a get together, and we'll bring Chris in and he can explain more and share more. And if you are a person that tired of sitting around and want to be a part of something that is productive, that put God's first, then this is a place for you to learn, to be educated. You might want to run for office later once you get empowered. So I invite you to call me. I invite you to stop by my office. Let's have a conversation. Let's see what we can get going here in the city of Milwaukee. If you're in Madison or Racine or Kenosha, give me a call. I travel down, and I'm sure Chris will travel with me just to give you the information, because knowledge is power. So if you had the knowledge and the information, I believe that you would be more excited and will even do more things. And so I know you've been traveling because we was in friendship together, West Bend together. Where are you next?
So yesterday I was in Janesville, I was in Racine. Tomorrow I will be in Appleton, Green Bay, Shawano. Next week I'm hoping to get up to northern Wisconsin to meet with individuals up there, talk about the John Birch Society. I've been all over. I've been to Wisconsin, Minnesota. In addition to Wisconsin, I'm also field coordinator for Minnesota and North Dakota. So I have a very large area to cover, and trying to meet people in all three states and get as many chapters formed and citizens out in their communities, educating people about the John Birch Society as possible.
Awesome. And so one of the things also, why don't you tell the audience who Chris is?
Sure. I'm born and raised here in Wisconsin. I grew up in Appleton. Went to Kimberly High School. pretty active in sports until I got injured playing football my sophomore year, and then I pretty much stuck to reading, studying politics. Got my undergrad from Ripon College in 2010, politics and government. I got my master's from George Washington University in 2013. And prior to the John Birch Society, I worked 11 years in the Wisconsin legislature for State Representative Rob Brooks. Also worked as a field coordinator for the Republican Party of Wisconsin in 2014. I love to read, big Brewers fan, try to watch as many baseball games as I possibly can. It's great to see them playing well against the Cubs these last couple of games.
I know, right? We in first place right now.
Yes.
So that's a good thing.
And the team's healthy. A lot of their best players are back, and it's looking like last year's team all over again.
Yeah. Just hopefully they can win the World Series.
Exactly.
So I think that I know that there are people they meet. They don't call themselves a group or anything. They're just they call themselves conservatives, or they call themselves moderates, or they call themselves whatever. And I know they want to do something. They just don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
So give them some guidance.
Sure. I think the first thing is figure out a place to organize and meet, and what issues that you want to get involved with. It's usually most effective to focus on one or two main issues. If you're a group, initially the Tea Party was focused on government spending and taxation. That was their main issue, and they had their members coalesce around that issue and get out and make a difference in their communities on spending and taxation issues. I would say that's the first step. And then be willing to have conversations. The great thing about the John Birch Society is that we have members from all religious backgrounds, all faiths, all political parties, because our mission is educating about the Constitution and limited government and personal freedom, issues that every American should resonate with every American. So being able to have those conversations despite differences is important. Everybody can find usually one or two issues where they agree. And those are the issues to focus on, because that allows us to have productive, meaningful conversations, and then go out into our communities and further discuss those with our friends and neighbors, and find other areas of agreement.
Conversations. I've been saying that for a while now. We got to learn just to have a conversation. We might not agree on everything, but I know a lot of us are concerned about our freedom. A lot of us is concerned about, are they sticking to the Constitution? A lot of us is concerned about the education system. So there's a lot of things that a lot of us is concerned about. So let me just give you a scenario. You got a group of 8 that's not really familiar with politics, that really don't understand how to research an issue. Would the JBS be able to help them with that research?
Absolutely. We have archives on our website, that under the member portal on our website, we have archives of all the past issues of our magazine, of our JBS agenda, pamphlets on issues like the ones I gave you that explain the differences between a republic and a democracy. And in addition to that, I'm able to, from headquarters, get additional materials, pamphlets, books, DVDs, things that people want to learn more about, and bring those to those individuals in those meetings so that they can get better educated, and then have them distribute those to like-minded people or those who are looking for more specific knowledge on any particular issue.
Okay. Oh, wow. So time is almost up. Look like. So I want you to look in that camera, share your vision and your heart with the people.
My vision is to continue to make America the strongest, most powerful nation in the world, and to do so by further educating people about the founding of this country, the Constitution, the very freedoms that we have come to cherish every day of our lives.
All right, y'all heard it straight out of his mouth. So if you are interested in JBS, you can give us a call. Call me at 414-676-0842. Let's have a conversation. I'll set it up where Chris can come back to Milwaukee. I think he likes the restaurant across the parking lot, but from the office. But we can get him back here. He's all, like he said, he's connected with Dr. Duke Pestle and the Freedom Project, who's also a good friend of mine's. And so for me, those of you know, I'm all about empowering. I'm all about helping families become more self-sufficient. I'm all about protecting our freedom. I'm all about removing, for me, both parties out of our way so we can enjoy the American dream and that so many people bled and died for. I believe that the more knowledge you receive, the more information you get, the more ready you are for the battle. And so we got to get you ready. You should want to be ready. And I think it'd even be amazing if they would take their juniors and seniors and educate them, because they're not getting this in history class. So I think that would be a great move too. So do JBS have anything for like juniors or senior high schoolers?
Yeah, I mean, overview of America, Blueprint for Liberty, Constitution is the Solution. Any one of those are great for educating high school students about the Constitution and the country.
Yes. And the sad part about it is, and I'm glad, another reason why I'm glad they do the report card is because we have people that swear to defend something they don't even know. And that's the scary part. They said, I will defend the Constitution and I will defend the state of Wisconsin or the United States. But if you don't have the information, you're making laws against what you claim to defend. And so we got work to do. Any last words you want to say?
No, if you're interested in learning more, getting more involved, visit jbs.org or thenewamerican.org. Thank you for having me. It was an honor to be here with you today.
It's an honor to have you, and we're going to bring them back because I just wanted to do this introduction because we're going to come back and we're going to pick a particular subject, and we're going to just teach you guys about it so that you will be empowered, because there's so much going on. Election is going on. They're lying about taking our voting rights, and so you guys need to be educated on everything. So I'm looking forward to standing along with Chris and along with any other freedom fighter that want to educate and empower people, because that's what it's about. I don't care if you're on the left or the right. I care if you want to allow your children to have the enjoyment of freedom like we had, because if we're not careful, we'll lose that freedom. And I don't want to lose it for nothing. So, and I'm not going to pass the baton to my children and our country and our state is messed up. That I would not do. So again, this is Dr. David D. King, along with my friend Chris. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. And until next time, we want to say, wait a minute. I had to fix something. So we want to say God bless. Until next time.
Do 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 do. A do 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 do. control.